Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Autumn Ambrose and today I am making a witch manor on a 30 by 30 lot in Forgotten Hollow. So when I was thinking of building something in Forgotten Hollow, I knew I wanted to build a really grand fancy manor house, and I started to look on Pinterest just for some inspiration, and I found this one picture that really caught my eye, and that was due to the fact because it had a curved pillar-like section in the middle of the build that was going up all 3 to 4 floors, and it was part of the build where you could actually go in. It was like an actual room by the looks of things from the front. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. I really like the way this looks. I would like to incorporate that bit of the build into my own build. There was also, from memory, this like wraparound balcony at the front that was also going around the curved section, and that was also another element that I also wanted to incorporate into my own build. So when I got into the game, started to incorporate these two elements, and I got to the point where I was like, it's nice, but it's not giving me that wow factor when I first saw that picture on Pinterest. And so I've got two options here. I can either keep going and look on Pinterest for more pictures, for more inspiration, and start adding elements that way, or I can, just ditch Pinterest and just go ahead and just add bits and pieces to this building, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. And when I was building this, I was just in the mood of I just want to get going. I just want to build something and get this build on the move. I don't want to sit here looking through pictures, trying to find pictures that I like with elements that I could incorporate to this build. I just want to get going. And so I started just to place down blocks and cubes, started to pull out them, stretch them out, push them in, move them about, see what worked, see what didn't work. And I was having a lot of fun, and it occurred to me that I haven't done that style of building in such a long time. Normally when I build, I tend to gather all these different pictures that I like that are in the style that I would like to build in, and I just basically grab all those different elements from all these different pictures and stick them together to create one big build. And that's how I would typically build. And so it was so different for me to start building without any plan or any knowledge what it was going to turn out looking like, and just basically playing around, seeing what works and what didn't work. And yeah, I just haven't built like that in a very long time. So yeah, but that did mean I came out with a very unusual looking shape, a very unusual looking build. But I was very happy with it. I was like, oh, look at this. This looks so good. I can't believe this came out from my own brain. But yeah, it did mean I did end up with a very weird looking shape. So for roofing was a bit of a nightmare when I was first doing it, because I have already built this. So I'm just replacing what I had built once before. But first time around, it was a nightmare. Had no idea what I was doing. I did keep in mind I could always cover up my mistakes with like chimneys and stuff like that. Didn't need to do that, but there was a point where I was like, I may have to. It also meant when I went inside, when I got inside, I just got very overwhelmed because it was such an odd shape, so many ins and outs and things popping out. But I looked onto Pinterest trying to find similar builds that had a similar shape to mine, and a lot of these buildings that I was looking at had like a central hallway, so the front entrance and the back entrance were connected by one hallway, and so I decided to do that, and the staircase was located in this central hallway. A lot of them had this like sweeping curved stairway that would suited a big grand building like this, and I did try to make that sweeping curved staircase, I tried to make it using platforms, but it didn't work out. It was looking very messy. The green frieze that I was using for the exterior was coming inside. It's like, hey, you're an outside thing. You should remain outside. Why are you coming in here? And it just looked really, really messy along with the platforms and the frieze. So I decided to get rid of that and instead do a tightly packed L-shaped staircase. It's not the grand staircase I was looking for, but it works. And once we get inside, it's actually a really, really simple layout. So we basically have a main central hallway and then rooms coming off either side. So it's actually a really, really simple layout, and a lot of the rooms are quite big. If I decided to divide up those rooms into like more rooms, then the rooms themselves just look too small, so I kept them with a larger size. So we do have 3 bedrooms, well, a potential to have 3 bedrooms because one of the rooms has been turned into a seance room. You can always get rid of the seance room and turn it back into a bedroom. There's always a possibility for that 3rd bedroom to also have an ensuite. Because this is like a witch manor, I didn't turn it into a 3rd bedroom, and I didn't like have a door that would allow you to have an ensuite. It makes more sense once we get inside. But there is a small room next to the 3rd bedroom that could turn into an ensuite. There is no door at the moment for you to easily access from the 3rd bedroom to get to the ensuite. But you could easily do it. It's not hard. It's like removing a bookcase, replacing it with a door. But like I said, this is for like a witch manor, so like having en-suites and having a 3rd bedroom didn't make sense because I would imagine that this place is for one lonely old looking witch or a young witch, but they're by themselves. They are single Pringle. They don't have anyone else. They just have their cat that they love and they adore, but it's just them and their cat. And I would also imagine them using this room quite a lot. They do have a formal dining room. They don't eat their food in the formal dining room. They just sort of like eat on the lap, in the living room, in front of the fireplace, or they would eat sitting on the rocking chair in this kitchen, which again is in front of the fireplace. But we do have a formal dining room because it seems appropriate for this house. You know, it's a big fancy house. Big fancy houses tend to have separate dining rooms, so we do have one. But yes, this is the kitchen. As you can see, it is quite a large kitchen. It also has lots of clutter, and I got hyper fixated on the clutter because I would place it down going, oh, I really like this. Yes, I quite like the clutter there. It all makes sense. Lovely. I'm just going to shut down, and when the new day comes, I will come in and do the other rooms. That new day comes, I then look into the kitchen just to make sure I liked everything, and I look at the clutter and I go, I don't like it. I don't like the clutter. I'm going to change it. And that kept happening quite a few times. Also, a lot of the clutter that I was placing, I had to manually lift it all up. So that took a lot of time. I used this trick that I saw on Instagram where you use the Discover University square cubby, and if you hold down Alt as you are holding it, you can freely move that cubby square thing wherever you want. And I was basically using that to place my clutter down. So for example, you would have the square cubby from Discovery University. It's from high school years. You have that. You can see it here, doing it now. You would place your tissue box onto that square cubby and then up to the height of your shelf. And then you will drag your tissue box off the square cubby and place it onto your shelf. And I was doing that with every single clutter item because otherwise that would mean my clutter items would be floating. And you could say, well, it's fine. It's magic. It's floating because it's magic. But no, I wanted my items to actually sit on the surfaces that I was placing them on. So we do have a functional kitchen, and we do have a functional cauldron room area thingamabob. It all works basically. So yeah, this is the dining room. I imagine this dining room doesn't get used very often, perhaps to entertain guests that will later end up in the potion. But you know, to make them feel welcome, that they're safe, there's nothing to worry about. This is just an old house with an old lady that lives in it. Nothing to worry about, and then the next thing you know, you're in the cauldron. So yeah, this is the dining room. I really didn't know what to put in the dining room. It was like, I've got the dining table and the dining chairs and a fireplace. What else? What do you put in dining rooms? And I also got hyper fixated on the screenshots, the exterior screenshots, because I changed my mind. I didn't like the lot that this was placed on. So this is a lot in Forgotten Hollow. It is a 30 by 30, and there are not many 30 by 30 lots in other worlds, and I don't own all the worlds. And I did go ahead and try to find a different lot that suited this build. Ideally, I would love it for this to be placed in Glimmerbrook, but again, there's no 30 by 30. And so I was like, okay, what if I just placed it on a different lot in Forgotten Hollow? And my game, it got stuck on the loading screen, and it happened to me twice. And I do sometimes experience lag. A lot of the builds that I build are quite big. Sometimes, like this one, they do have a lot of like stuff and clutter, and so that will take even more time for the game to load all of it. And so I was like, okay, perhaps it's just that. Perhaps it's just having a really hard time trying to place everything in this lot. But then today, as I was going through Twitter, apparently there is a bug that came from the recent patch update that makes, if you're placing any lot, even if it's big or small, empty, full, if you're placing a lot from the gallery, you can get stuck in the loading screen, or it can make your game freeze. And I was like, I'm so happy that it's just a bug, it's not my game. And so yeah, I was very happy about that, but also annoyed because with the Sims 4 for rent, I have been trying to think, are there any builds that I've built in the past that could be converted or used for that pack? And I have thought of some. There is the Clarendon House, which actually has apartments in there. So the Clarendon House was a build that I built for my Houses Through the Ages series. It was for the Stuart era. And that building does have actual units in them, flats or apartments in them. Can't remember how many, and I would love to replace it in my game so I could see. But to do that, I will have to go through a loading screen, and like I mentioned before, I really got stuck twice on a never-ending loading screen. And to get out of it, I just had to simply completely shut down my entire computer, hoping and praying I wasn't doing any damage to the game. But yeah, apparently it's just a bug. Annoying bug, but a bug. I also have 2 townhouses that could be used for the Sims 4 for rent. Again, all of these builds are on my gallery. It's not a guarantee you might get stuck when downloading these builds. It's just like you could get stuck. Because I did place this build once, but half my objects were deleted because I forgot to turn bb.move objects on, and so a lot of the objects went bye-bye, which is a pain in the butt when you're taking screenshots. So yeah, so I did try to re-download it, and that's when I got stuck. But anyways, I decided the lot that it is on, it's fine. It's okay. You're overthinking it. Just take the screenshot and move on. So we are now inside. Well, we've been inside for blooming ages. We are now doing one of 3 bedrooms, possibly 3 bedrooms, since one of them has been transformed into a seance room. And the backing there with like the shelves and that patterned flowery thing, That is something I did with the tool mod. I don't have the tool mod at the moment because when I was building this, I was only doing it in the evening when I only had 1 to 2 hours to do what I wanted to do, and I just kept forgetting to download the tool mod. And so I really wanted there to be sort of this like cladding, but I didn't have the tool mod to do it. But the most best thing about the tool mod, even if you don't have it downloaded into your own game, no worries, you can still download a house from the gallery or whatever, with the where there have been items that have been tool modded, and in the past I've had the tool mod for quite some time, and there were houses that had this sort of like box cladding that I really wanted to use for this build, so I just had to go back, save that room to my library, place it into this house and just use that box cladding, and it all works. All the beams that I rotated all works. They are still there, they are still rotated. You just saw a very quick glimpse of me placing the room that I have saved to my library and placing it into this room. That's what I basically did with the last room. I decided not to replace it because it was such a long wall that I was doing it on, whereas this wall is a much smaller wall, and it was the same size as the other room that I was taking it off from. So hopefully that all makes sense. So yeah, so this build is like Tudor inspired, medieval inspired, some Victorian inspiration in here as well, and a lot of these like fancy manor houses, they would have had somewhere to clean yourself up, either like a bowl or like a big tub. And so I decided to incorporate like an actual bathtub to these bedrooms, but that does mean there's no place for your Sims to actually go to the loo. So for the last bedroom, you may have seen we had a bathtub and a sink, but for your Sims to actually go to the loo, we do have a full bathroom that's just across the hallway. But for this bedroom, we have an ensuite. It really didn't make any sense in my mind, but for your Sims to actually use this house properly, there had to be a place for your Sims to use the loo. So I thought, since we have the space, let's just make an ensuite. It doesn't make any sense, but let's go for it. It doesn't make any sense with the fact that this is like a Tudor, medieval, Victorian inspired like home. Doesn't really make sense. But yeah, really love this room. When I was playtesting, I was using this room as like the main bedroom. I personally prefer this bedroom over the last bedroom. When I was decorating this, I decorated the bedroom that we first came to. I was like, oh my gosh, this is really pretty. How am I gonna like top this one for the next bedroom? And I did it. I like this bedroom. I prefer this bedroom. Although when I was decorating, I preferred the other one. But yeah, so this has like the round window, it has a fireplace, the other one had a fireplace, but this one has like a little sofa in it. So this could be the ensuite to the third room. I didn't do it. And so I decided to make this room into like a rare collectibles room. So if you watch any like supernatural thing, there will be an episode where they will need this rare artifact that they need to get their hands on to save the world, but someone else has it. And so I thought this could be the room with the rare artifact, and your characters will need to visit the witch to get it. So this is what this room is about. I tried to fill this room with some rare collectibles that your Sims can collect. So if you do download this house, you could hover over these items and it should say rare or uncommon. So yeah, this could be your third bedroom. So I turned this into a seance room because a seance room made more sense to me more than a third bedroom. And I basically based this on like astrology and the moon phases, So there's lots of werewolf stuff in here, and I really like these sort of like moon, like that the witches get their magical powers from the moon or stuff like that. So yeah, this is the seance room. I thought it'd be creepy to put like a creepy doll on a rocking chair. So like when you're like doing a seance, that'll be start rocking and the dog go, "Mama, Mama, are you my mommy?" and stuff like that. So yeah, I just try to put creepy stuff in to make it more creepy. Put some like creepy head dolls because there are some creepy head dolls in Debug. And this is why I placed the bookcase. This is where you would place the door into your ensuite. To get to the rare collectibles room, there is a secret book door. So as you go up the stairs, it should be in front of you. But this is the seance room, and then we will be moving on to the greenhouse. I thought it'd be rude not to have a greenhouse. If you've got a witch's house, there has to be a greenhouse for her to make, or for her to grow all of her herbs and ingredients. But this is where I'm going to leave you. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. But until then, this is editing me. I realised when I was editing the voiceover I didn't mention anything else about the garden and the fact that it has a greenhouse in it. But we also have a maze. I thought I should mention that because from the screenshots you can't clearly tell that is a maze. But we have a very simple small maze and your Sims have to go through it to get to this greenhouse. We also have a kidney bean shaped, or bean shaped pond. But again, from the screenshots you can't tell there's a pond in there, mainly because there was no good angle which the pond featured in. The only other option was just to have one lonely bean shaped pond picture, and I didn't fancy that. So we have a small simple maze, a pond and a greenhouse in the back garden. And so this is definitely where I'm going to leave you. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one, which would hopefully be the gingerbread village. But until then, I hope you have a lovely time and a lovely day, wherever that may be. And yeah, thank you and goodbye.